What is up, guys? It's Verns back again with another Supercoach video. This time it is the AFL Round 4 review. And look, honestly, I'm so surprised by the season rank at the end of the day. I knew it was a bad week, but I thought a few other people, I'd seen a few other bad scores as well. I thought maybe it's not as bad as I think. But yes, unfortunately, we did go down 7,132 places by scoring an 1831. Now, there was unfortunately some trades I made that just was super annoying. But something I will just touch on is, look, we've had a round score of 95k, 85k, 66k. If we didn't have that round rank of 69, we would be done. Like, the point that we're under 20k is insane. And, that's just a bit of inspiration, I think, for everyone else. It's like, you just need a couple of good rounds and you're back in it. Like, it's still very early in the season. Like, as I said, if you count up like the 85, the 95k, the 66k, I should probably be out at like 70k or something. But one round of 69 and boom, I'm 19k. Like, it's kind of crazy in that sense. But look, I will appreciate all those for liking and subscribing for the consistent injection of Supercoach content directly into their YouTube feed. We will jump to the team in half a second because I realize I didn't reverse any of my trades, as I nearly always do, guys. Sorry, it's so silly of me. Got distracted doing other things when I was trying to set up the team. Confirm. Get in my face. Confirm. Okay, awesome. So this is how the team was looking. We actually VC'd Dorco going into the week because I just kind of wanted to go for a higher upside. I didn't want to get stuck with like a Butters 130 when I felt like Bont was going to go way higher. So that is why I went for that. Did have an unfortunate, Jordan Clark 52. Look, we've copped a Jordan Clark 52, a Brayshaw 47 this season. Few really bad scores, but we did have Sarong bounce back with a really big score, and we were able to get it on field. Zorko's doing fine at the end of the day. Warriors technically outperformed in the last couple of weeks. It still would have been a better pick, but I've gone a bit unique here, and there is still a chance Zorko's, top 6. At the end of the day, we didn't expect the attention that he got from the St Kilda game. And both these games, the Collingwood and the St Kilda game, he had a couple of clangers early, which just makes it really hard to recover. So he got decent scores both weeks. I think he'll be fine. It sucks that Collingwood and St Kilda are a team that usually gives up a lot of points to defenders, so he wanted a bit more. But as I said, he did take a lot of attention in that Saints game. Houston bounces back with a good one. Jack's good enough. And Lindsay, it's fine. I just scored didn't count towards my scoring anyway. Yes, but the big thing you will notice here, and this is so frustrating. Obviously, we brought in Bont. We got the captaincy, amazing. But we brought in Dacos. And I was working at the time, and I didn't have much time to sort of check stuff out. And like 10 past 7, I jumped on. Teams had been released. I checked everything out. Everything looked fine, but it wasn't. Unfortunately, Dacos gets named laid out after I've checked this, which sucks. I think I went to the wrong place. If I actually went to X instead of like the AFL website and look at team lists, because obviously it's not going to say anything until he's officially out. But if we were on X, I know like Joshy was posting stuff before the game started, like he's labouring, he doesn't look good, sort of thing. So it just sucks that we brought in Dacos and literally got a did not play. So it really hurts. And that could have been a huge pod advantage for us. 66% of the comp owned Dacos. And we've been punished by him for the first 3 weeks by not owning him. He was better than Brayshaw even with the extra bye. And then we bring him in and we get punished. Like, it sucks so much. And look, we wanted to go either Dacos or Baz. For anyone that listened to the video last week or was watching last week, we obviously talked about the 4 sort of targets as Dacos, Baz. We talked about going a Grundy or a Gorn. But we ended up sticking with the Dacos, and I wish we found out that information earlier. I would have gone to Baz. We would have got some extra points. At the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, Baz gets West Coast this week. Baz scores a 118, so he outperforms Leon Lombard by 62 points. They're the extra points that we would have gotten if we went that way. So Dacos can make that up, and he has been in insane form. So hopefully he bounces back and we don't feel so bad about this. But just, really disappointed to have that and kind of, even out a pod that's been hurting you and getting hurt by it really hurts. Like, it just sucks. Obviously we talked about Grundy being the huge spike score going in the West Coast. I expected a spike score, but that was pretty large. And now that Tim English is out, he's going into Dogs soon. I think it's within the next 3 weeks. I don't know if it's 3 weeks away or 2 weeks away. I'm just clicking on Sarong because he should tell us when they've got Dogs. Is it? Yeah, 3 weeks away. And Briggs is also, we talked about, Wits being a hard matchup, and then Giants and Dogs being easy matchups. And now English is out as well, so it's easy as well. The hindsight to know that, I guess it's after that where it becomes hard, where it becomes a Gorn and a Cherry back to back, and that's kind of the reason we avoided them, because we were like, oh, if I had to choose between keeping English in my team with one other ruck going forward, I want it to be Gorn. Gorn's going in the Wits. It's probably going to be a down game. We can get him the week after a bit cheaper. No, we're wrong. Gorn goes 175 and has a massive game and ends up like 20k more expensive. So Gorn ended up more expensive, which sucks. Grundy, in hindsight, he was obviously a VC shout for anyone that went there. And in hindsight, if I knew obviously English gets injured and you can move him to Gorn the following week, then of course, you go the Grundy-Gorn combo. Now, I have heard English going to be at like 3 to 6. I personally was going to trade him even if it was 1, just because in my eyes, it's like, even if English ends up being a 120 average, which I don't know if he will be, if he's between the 115 and the 120 average, it's just not good enough. Like Gorn, Grundy, Cherry, they're all going to be 130 average guys again. At least 125 average, it feels like. So I feel like you're just losing points there every week, even if you're saving some money. So I was personally going to move him up, even if it was like 1 week to a Gorn, because I just don't want to miss out on this run he's got right now and just how good he has looked. But yeah, a little bit distracted there, but I guess we've kind of gone over the ruck line real quickly, and I guess my trades of last week. Now, our Butters, look, he's plodding along. It is what it is. Brayshaw, look, he's bouncing back. The 120 is good. Like, obviously his average doesn't look good. At the end of the day, if he gets his average up to 113 by the end of the season, then it's like, okay, he's a good starting pick. We paid for what we got. If he gets higher than that, then cool. But it just, obviously hurts that he's lost a fair bit of money. Anyone can get him much cheaper now, and he's had some good games, but at the same time, I said he's playing a fair bit of wing. I don't know if I would want Brayshaw personally. Walsh and Jaeger, you can kind of talk about these guys as a combo, because Chera came back and, man, it ended up as a Cripps, Chera, and Hewitt midfield, and Walsh and Smith got pushed to the wayside, and it really hurt. Walsh just isn't the pick it was, and the only disappointing thing I'd look at Walsh is, obviously, we all know I was pretty hot in steel at the start of the year, and look, you can't talk about players you didn't start at the end of the day, really, but obviously, as in my first team, I did move him out of my second team, but I did talk about really wanting him, but I just couldn't find space for him. Third team I made, he's back in it. And then we had the open round games, and he got moved to Walsh, and that's how we started the year, with with Walsh instead of Steele, and Steele's averaging 114. He also didn't have a bye, so this average we see from Walsh isn't even correct, because he had a 113 that doesn't even, or 14 that doesn't even count to what we're getting from him, let alone the bye round where we probably got a 60 as well. So Walsh's value's down like below probably like an 80, below a 90 average right now in our team, and you have someone like Steele who's going gangbusters and I was 114 average, and just, I'm a bit disappointed at myself in that sense. Obviously, like, there's so many other things you do right, so you can't be upset with it. At the end of the day, we didn't start Errol Goulden, who got injured, so positives there sort of thing. But yeah, that's one that I just really hate myself for, especially because he was such a big pod and I was so hot on him and then just didn't do it, which sucks. So Walsh and Jaeger both feel a bit hurt. Jaeger, you'll still hold on to for a long period of time, and Walsh, I don't know, he could end up as a buy flip, honestly. I don't want him in my end team. I thought there was a chance he scrapes in for an M8, but I don't see it at all these days. Grill, great, we love that on field. Watkins, there's one hurts. So my trades this week really sucked. I went Bonton, which, that's good, but then Dacos, who did not play, and then Watkins, who got a 7. Like, I thought trading in Watkins, I thought he had 150k still to make on his price tag, and then he comes out with a 7, blows up his cash, and he's going to be a super slow burn, but if anything, it just shows that, do I want a rookie that can get a 7? He's probably on the chalking blocks as well, potentially. Like, this was against Richmond. This was against a good matchup. Like, what's it going to do against hard matchups? Like, that just, it's bloody annoying, I'll say that much. Emblemere is good enough. Obviously, McAndrew comes out with a massive score and a huge savior for a lot of us, and us running him at R2, we feel really good considering we thought Riley O'Brien was going to hurt him, but did the exact opposite, made him even better. And I think even assured up way more job security with how bad O'Brien was in kind of losing them the game. I say kind of, he did. Buderick, he's taken away. Yeah, it sucks. And then we can just sort of see the rookies here. Good enough. Bruin, good enough. You hold on to him for a long period of time as well. I guess what I will talk about real quickly is, like, this year, like, look, there's many ways you can say this sort of thing. Like, when you look at players, you're like, oh man, it was definitely guns and rookies, but then you go, oh, but was there actually mid prices that worked? Like, if we jump to these mid prices that are like between Some of them might have had some price rises now, but let's just, no, they'll definitely have some price rises. Let's go to like this price range sort of thing. We're looking at mid prices. Look at some averages. So obviously you're not starting Kelly. At the end of the day, Houston did work as a mid-pricer. I'm probably a bit too high of a price tag, but there was one player I was trying to include in it because some of these mid-prices have had price rises already, and I did want to include them. Nah, I think he's way out of the price ranges now, actually. I was going to say Archie Roberts as a mid-pricer obviously worked out really well, too. We'll just jump down a little bit lower in price. Rough mid-prices we're looking at. Right now, Connor McDonald's definitely a win, definitely working out. Josh Rochelle is definitely a win. He is definitely working out, in my opinion. Obviously, you could say Nick Watson's working out here, too. I mean, he had the open round game as well, though, so Fonte, obviously working out there, sort of thing. Bice has been insane too. Harvey Thomas, like a huge pod, like crazy good mid prices. So at the end of the day, like there are some really good mid prices that worked, but then there's ones that didn't, and they're the ones that we ended up on. Like obviously, I think Murphy Reed would be the other big mid pricer here at this point in time. That sort of falls into this category as a starting pick. Yeah, he'd be probably the biggest one that's been successful. But yeah, that's when you go down, and then we start running into some sort of trouble. Obviously, I'm not counting Dersmer as a mid-pricer. He's just had the price rise. Tanner Bruin would be like the next successful popular one. And then the rest just, not like they all just kind of fall off a cliff. Like they're not that successful the lower we go sort of thing. So right now it's like, Bruin was successful. Murphy Reed, successful, and then a few of these ones up here. So, like, technically mid-prices could have worked, and you could have had a successful year. It's just nobody's on a lot of these ones that did work out at the end of the day. I mean, Rochelle is also a pretty highly owned one, actually, in reality. Watson was a smoky for a lot of people. Obviously, Bice, I think, is out of literally nowhere. Harvey Thomas is literally out of nowhere. And then Connor McDonald, I think, people were generally interested in too, so 7% there. So, mid-prices did work if you got the right ones. The problem is a lot of us got the wrong ones. We got on Young, we got on Parrish, I was on Caniglia. Caniglia's too expensive, I think, to actually be in this price tag. Yeah, he must be too expensive. I must go up a little bit higher for Cogs. Probably too high. No. Caniglia was like 360k. What the hell? Is his average really that bad, or did I go past him? Caniglia. Oh, there he is. 81, his average is really that bad. That sucks. I mean, Coleman, that's another one. That's Kitty Coleman obviously worked out as well, sort of thing. So, mid-prices worked if you ended up on the right mid-prices. And then you could say the other thing. If you jump over to, Uber Premiums worked sort of thing. If you went Guns and Rookies. Okay, you're definitely right. I mean, Gorn at the end of the day, Bont at the end of the day, Track, Cherry, Dacos, Grundy, Sheasel. These guys, they've all gone bonkers. So, like, they definitely worked. Once again, it's definitely worked if you got the right ones. I do think if we scroll down here, it sucks that Rosa didn't work out. It sucks that Laird didn't work out. Dunkley's been an absolute flop this year. Nass has been a flop this year. Brayshaw, kind of a flop because of that first score, and it did count because it was like best 23 as well. Sorry, best 22. And then Dawson's been like, at the end of the day, if you went for these premiums, you'd feel like Guns and Rookies didn't work. Where, if you went for the premiums that obviously worked, then once again, if you got on the mid prices that worked, you feel like that worked. If you went on the premiums that worked, you feel like that worked. So, is it Guns and Rookies? Is it mid prices? It could be either. It just comes down to getting on the right ones at the end of the day. But what I think price range did go pretty bonkers in reality. I'm going to jump down to like 550 or be like 550. Honestly, this range right here, if you got on like the 500k mid prices, they went nuts this year. Like, what was up with that? Obviously, Stewart's gone bonkers. Tracy's more of a mid pricer, so I won't count that. Steele's gone bonkers. Parker, kind of a bit more of a mid pricer, but Worrell's gone bonkers. LDU's not even in this price tag anymore. He's gone bonkers, sort of thing. I feel like Clary's gone good enough. Pickett's, gone bonkers. Like, this 500k, even Timmy Taranto is too expensive now. The 500k range is kind of wild how many of them have been just insane. Like, not quite the mid-price. Like, once again, if you're on the right mid-price, that's fair. If you got on the right premiums, I think a lot of the top-end premiums did work. But this 500k range, there is a lot of just absolutely nuts picks that are just so good. Once again, I'm sure if we scroll down, there's going to be a bunch that aren't super good. Let's see what we got here. Bailey Dale being an absolute flop. Darcy Cameron being an absolute flop. Sam Darcy not really good enough. Chad Warner not good enough. McCartan, I know a lot of people are hot on him. Definitely not good enough. Thilthorpe, people are hot on. Not good enough. You can sort of see it by their ownership percentage too. So at the end of the day, as much as I'm saying, like, man, this price range was bonkers. Like, once again, there's still players that in that price range that failed and ones that succeeded. So, each year there's going to be... I think you can't say it's just guns and rookies. You can't just say it's mid-prices. You can't just... Because there's always players in that price tag that failed and worked out. So it just comes down, did you get on the right ones? In our case, obviously, we haven't, unfortunately. But the way I do want to play it this year, which is something I haven't really done the last few years, I get too wacky because I fall behind early and things get really bad, is I do just want to pick the best players at the end of the day. I feel like we have so much money coming into our team. These rookies seem like they're going to make so much cash, some of them. I feel like we're going to be able to pay up and we can just get the best players. So I feel like what I want to do this year is I just want to pay up, get the best players, like the top scorers, and I don't want to worry about these fallen premiums that have fallen to 500, 470k and hope they come good. Like, no. I just want to pay up for the guys that are playing insane, that are looking insane, that are, are priced the way they are because they have been that good. And sometimes that spits in your face. I know Rao, a couple of years ago before his Brownlow year, he got to like 650k after his first 12 rounds, which was insane, and then he averaged like 89 for the next like 12 and burnt anyone that got on him at like 650k. So sometimes that bounce thing slaps you in the face, but that's just kind of how I want to play it this year. I want to pay up, I want to get the big dogs. That's why I kind of talked about moving out English, because at the end of the day I just don't think he's going to be a top 3 ruck anyway, and he's missing a game. But now all of a sudden he's potentially missing at least 3, so you're going to go anyway. So yeah, we've got trades this week. I don't want to use boosts. Originally I wanted to try and find a way to boost Gorn in and keep English, but then obviously that was before the English got injured, sort of thing. Grundy and Gorn both have insanely good runs at the moment. We talked about it last week, but Gorn's got the good matchup. Fort's been a bit restrictive, but he has gone 200 on them before. And last year, he technically went pretty big on Essendon, who Draper was the ruck for in round 5. I think that was before his injury, sort of thing. So, in reality, Maxi could really torch both these teams. So I was gonna say good, not great. Absolutely, like fantastic, not great, fantastic, not great, fantastic. Don't know how it'll be Hawks with the double matchup, but then gets good again. Good. Gets very good for a bit. So I think at the end of the day, Gorn's going to be top 10. Like, I think he's going to be, the only reason I'm talking about his fixture right now is, yes, he's going to be a top liner. He's going to definitely be first, second, or third, and you want him in your team. But the question is, who do you want to get this week? Do you want the Grundy or do you want Gorn? Grundy's obviously 40k cheaper. At the end of the day, he's got Wits, though, who just got torched by Grundy, but I don't think anyone really expected Melbourne to win that game. And just on a side note, how good did Melbourne actually look? He had that random drop game, but now that's out of his price cycle. He's got a super low break even. He's going to make a lot of money. So you can get on him while he's cheap before he ends up over 700k, because he's going to go into GWS and dogs without English, so you'd think he has 2 massive spikes here, potentially a good game against Wits too, who gave up a big score, and then runs into a couple of hard matchups. So I think personally with Grundy, I might wait on this. I think I want to go Gorn. I think Gorn's he just seems like he's going to be number 1 at the end of the day. I mean, we looked at him just before, but like what he's done already this season, he hasn't dropped below 122. Like, double ruck matchup. I understand Rowan got injured in this game, and TDK has been pretty easy to score against, but they did win, which is kind of unexpected. They lost by 40 to Freo, and to be fair, Jackson's pretty easy to score against, so not surprising there. Carlton Pitnet's usually pretty decent, but they once again won there. And then Gold Coast, they won here. So I didn't expect them to win as much as they are, but just his scores are just so good consistently. The man just finds a way. So yeah, I definitely want Gordon in my team. There's nothing that's going to stop me from getting him in my team. Obviously, then it comes into I just need a bit more cash to do that from English. It's a little bit unfortunate because, if I went Steen instead of Watkins this week, then that extra money means I don't get Gordon right now, but at least I'm not. I think, I don't get Gorn right now, but I'm still just not. Don't have Watkins in my team. I think at the end of the day, I'm going to move Watkins out of my team. It is kind of funny in this sense. So he did get 25k basically, and if we actually trade Watkins out, and I go down to, just for an example, a Steen real quick. So let's get Tanner back up there, and we just grab what happened? Break evens. Oh no, he's right there. I'm so blind. How did I not see him? If we went a Steen and a Gorn, I didn't realize I hadn't traded in Gorn yet. Let's just get back to round 4 summary. Gorn. I actually only have 14k, meaning if I didn't get this 25k price right out of Watkin, I wouldn't be able to afford it. So technically, if I went Steen last week, I still would have had to do a downgrade this week. Who ends up getting downgraded? That's a bit interesting. Maybe Selwood goes to Farrell, and I can pretty sure I make the play there. No, maybe not. I think it might only be 11k. Yeah, it becomes a bit hard at that point as to what I would have actually done, but this week I think I just go down the Steen. Obviously, if I go to Farrow, I'm not going to have enough money, so I can't do that. And I don't want to be using more than 2 trades. I also honestly just don't want Watkins in my team anymore after that 7. That was so disappointing. But yeah, I think this looks good, so we'll make this play. I feel pretty good about this. The thing is, though, like, we get really good flexibility here, where technically I can have, like, anyone in my flex as well, because Steen can move with Zukowski. Zukowski can then move with anyone in the defense line. So I can get anyone in the defense line into my flex position this way. And then if I move Steen here, obviously, then I can get anyone in the forward line into my flex position. And then because of this, I can then get anyone in my midfield into my flex position. So it literally means I can flex around the whole team by bringing in Steen, which is, like, that's a really nice bonus to all things considered. I actually really liked the look of this too with Cooks here. I didn't even look at this before, but that's kind of nice. Marshall might be back. I think Lombard, we're not taking the risk with Lombard. Yeah, I mean, maybe Steen comes out with a decent score. He plays early enough. If Marshall isn't named, then we have a little loop there. Perfect. Now, we're not going to have Cooks in this flex position because we don't want the flex position to be like tied up too quickly sort of thing. So I guess Sheasel's not bad there. It gives us a little bit longer. He can still change with anyone in the mid and the forward, so it allows that. And technically, before the Collingwood game, we can get anyone in defense down there. But yeah, just allows a good amount of flexibility. Now, this is the only thing, though. If Marshall does get named, I don't actually have a loop at all here. Just because Zukowski plays game 3, so I can only really loop before that. And the only players before that would be like a Nick Dacos. So I can technically like loop a Nick. I personally wanted to like loop a Gorn, but if I don't have a loophole, then there's no point. So that's basically what we're going to look at doing for our captains, just because, yes, there's only one loop I potentially have, so obviously I'm going to use that loop. Yeah, awesome. Looks good there. Gorn captain, Dacos VC. Lindsay and Selwood doesn't really matter much of a muchness. I think we just play with these 4 on field. With these guys on field, let's actually get Oliver on field. I know I can hit optimize, but then it will mess up with everything that I already played with. I think, yeah, this is a good-looking midfield right there, and good-looking forward line. So, yeah, everything looks really good there. I think the team looks good. I hope it comes out with a good week this week. I want to get Walsh out of my team, but obviously we have Clary as well into Richmond, so that would be a nice little point of difference. Hopefully he can have a big game there. I guess just side notes for anyone that's, I guess, not going Gorn. If you did bring in a Grundy instead, obviously I'm not going to VC him into Gold Coast. I wouldn't personally. I think Nick's the obvious VC. Did just come off an injury though, so might not be the greatest there. If you have any of these Geelong boys and you actually have, like, say Marshall doesn't get named, so you have literally the last game loophole, that would be incredible. So then you can always look at like a Holmes into West Coast or a Baz into West Coast sort of thing. I think you can always, like, Sinclair, you can kind of rely on for a decent score. You can also just do Bont because Bont's just insane. But then, yeah, if you got Geelong boys that fall on, that's very nice too. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Once again, I appreciate all those that have tuned in, liked, and subscribed for the consistent injections of Supercoach content directly into their feed. Don't forget to, leave a comment down there. Just chat to me. Tell me how your team went. Tell me what you did. Tell me everything's going well, or if it's not, then you just need a big week to come back because I got faith in you. But till next time, guys. Peace. Later.